Ooh, hi everyone. Hello. Hi and welcome to this channel, to this space, to this place. Can you tell what color the light is? Hold up. Not really. It's green. So the thumbnail cards today, interestingly enough, it's the Queen of Swords with the Seven of Pentacles. And yesterday it was the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. Now I'm not necessarily expecting anything too drastically different. That's interesting. It's looking like these clouds are rolling in thick, but there's some light shooting out right there in that direction. That's a focusing and a honing energy. Because usually sunlight goes, it spreads out in all directions, but because of the clouds, it becomes concentrated. And it's shining in her direction. Maybe glinting off of her sword. Is she? She's the vulva. I think. I think she's the vulva. The vulva. Let me make sure. Excuse me. Cups. Cups. Pretty sure she's the vulva. Like, I've seen her enough. I should know. Yeah, she's the vulva. Okay. So I'm just going to pull a card or two today and read it from the book, see what comes out. I'm not expecting it to be anything drastically different because I do these frequently enough. But it could be. Who knows, right? Also, last time I bought a pack of water, I made a promise that I would get a water filter so I wouldn't keep throwing plastic bottles in the garbage because we don't recycle in my hometown um, because of illegal dumping. So the filter arrived today. And I wasn't going to get it, but then I was like, I kind of made a promise that I was going to get a water filter or a pitcher filter so that I wouldn't keep buying more water bottles. And it arrived. I'm excited about that. It tastes like water. So I guess it's good. This is interesting though, because last time it was the Seven of Swords. And I'm looking at the spindle. Because it's the vulva, because the Suit of Swords is based in Norse mythology or based upon the Norse pantheon, it reminds me of the Norns. But the spindle, it's giving me Sleeping Beauty vibes, but also Rumpelstiltskin vibes at the same time. And maybe with the Seven of Pentacles, it's like Rumpelstiltskin's curse was that he could only spin straw into gold for other people. Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Cups. And last time I saw the Nine of Cups, it was about something like this cup is on the X. X marks the spot. That cup in the back is still finding its way to the X. One cup is in someone's hand. Yeah. Someone's pouring into that cup, and then we have six cups framed on the wall. And so it is this energy where the path in the past is framed on the wall. We've made sense of our past in some way, and it's behind us. The seventh cup is currently being filled. And so there's an option that maybe is becoming more and more viable. The one cup is in position, or the one cup is it's off the mark, which takes us to an eight of cups energy. The eight of cups actually came out at the cut with the star. And then the star came out with the all gifted, and then the all gifted came out with the Five of Cups. Five of Cups being the energy of that which is inborn, innate within us that we kind of sort of disregard to fit in with the world or whatever. And so the Eight of Cups is this journey. And it feels like we're about to hit that spot where things start to align, click, or happen. Now, again, the thumbnail cards yesterday was the Seven of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Swords has turned into the Queen. And so, as we're doing this Eight of Cups thing and moving into position, I think we're going to be understanding. It feels like we're understanding more, though, how we didn't really give ourselves the best chance that we could have. It feels more like self sabotage rather than other people. And it's not that there weren't other people necessarily, but at the end of the day, it's almost like other people don't matter. It's about what we do for ourselves. And there's an eighth pentacle in the Seven of Pentacles. It's in the water. For me, it feels scorpionic. And it's a reflection here, but it feels real. Queen of Swords was Sagittarius. Was it a mother leading her two children up the stairs? It had an energy of ascension. The Queen of Swords could see through the mist and the illusion. And I thought about that too before I came live today, about how a year ago it was this energy of the mist and the fog, and those who navigate out of the mists before it clears will find themselves in a space of mastery. And there it's like it's starting to clear, it's starting to break. We're getting closer to the time of harvest, or closer to the time of these seeds being germinated and us seeing, yeah, with the Nine of Cups. And the Five of Cups is behind the Nine of Cups, with the Ten of Pentacles behind the Five of Cups. Um, with us seeing kind of sort of where this is playing out. It's that energy of things moving into position. Okay. So I want one, two at the most cards. Who is this? The Magician? Yeah, the Magician just came out at the cut. This feels like an angel. It feels like there's an angel above the Magician in this card. That feels like how angels are like depicted in the Bible. Which is the reason why the angels are always like, do not fear me, like don't be afraid. It's because they look scary. And I don't know if this is the human incarnation or the human shape, the humanoid shape of this angel. And I was talking to my grandma the other day, and I was like, what, because I love talking to my grandma about my journey. Um and I was like, I finally I was like, I just realized the other day that because of events and circumstances in my life, that like how much I had like distanced myself from all of like what I value. And I was like, it's not about people or whatever. I was like, I didn't realize like how, I guess, judgmental I had become. And she was like, what did she say? She said the Bible says that we don't struggle or fight against flesh and bone, but against principalities. It's not about the people in front of us. It's about the principality, the things, the systems, the laws overall. And now the Empress is at the bottom of the deck. Angels, like, they carry energies of principalities, a lot of them. And so with the Magician, it's an energy of like a man, a person who embodies a principality. And the angel that kind of sort of corresponds to it. But since we're human, we can embody multiple principalities. We can hold multiple things. And so it's almost like we can create or align to a whole host of angels and seraphim and maybe some cherubs too, because it's a family affair. Why did that just pop into my mind? It's a family affair. Because I guess some of them have charges. They have dominion. They have ones under them, right? I don't know the hierarchy of the Sephira or the angels. You got the archangels, you got the seraphim, you got like cherubs. There's like principalities. I don't know. But that's what that magician is coming out as. It feels like an alignment to like specific, closer to divine energies, or them presenting themselves in a more human way or something. I don't know. Okay. Oh, well, look at that. The card that came out is the Nine of Cups, and the bottom of the deck, a recent fave, the Ace of Swords. It's about learning all the runes. But the thing is that, like, you don't really have to learn the runes. The runes were inscribed on the tree of life on Yggdrasil, or the Yggdrasil. I don't know how to pronounce it. But it's carrying an energy of like it speaks in nature. It speaks in your day-to-day life. It's like constantly speaking. And we live the conversation. So if you pay attention, then there are certain things that you can learn kind of sort of like right off the bat. And that's another energy that's here lately. Okay. And the moon. Oh, well. So when I set the deck down, these cards slid. I'm just going to keep pulling. Okay, I'll stop here. The King of Swords is behind this stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 of Cups, 9 cards off the bottom of the deck. So this will be 9, this will be 8, and these are this is the one being poured into. And then these are the 6 on the wall. So out of the 6 on the wall, 4 of them are majors. Where are my glasses at? I do want to see how many runes are on here, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 or 13. There could be more. Also, no, the moon was. Hold up. How did this come out? Yeah. Because the moon is here too. So we see the moon and the Ace of Swords, and then we see the moon here. So the 6 cups in ascending order. So we have the King of Swords at the bottom of the deck, which is perfect because Odin hung himself from the world tree to learn the runes, to learn magic, to read the runes inscribed in the world tree to learn magic. King of Swords is Odin in this deck. It takes an Odin energy. The 2 wolves are here. I don't know if it's Fenrir or Fafnir. I don't remember. My Norse mythology is rusty. Even though Freya showed up yesterday. I said I was going to look into it, but it didn't happen. And it almost carries an energy of like when he hung himself from the world tree, and while he was reading the runes, it feels like it put aspects of life into perspective. It's like each rune is almost associated with a certain, speaking of principalities, each rune is associated with a certain set of circumstances that culminate, or circumstances where the climax is what that rune symbolizes. And we go through many phases and many cycles and many seasons in life. We experience many things. And the climax, the apex, is the rune, or it's this runic energy. And so again, it's like just by paying attention or having a certain practice or a certain mindset, you learn it. So the Ten of Swords is the first card, which speaks of endings. There's a Valkyrie here coming to take his soul. He's been found worthy. And what's interesting in this card, it's like a lot of times when we see swords in the back, it carries an energy of cowardice. And most of these swords, if not all of them, it looks like all of them except for one, is through his back. And so it feels like there's a need to release the version of our story that we hold, the version that makes us a coward, or the version where it's like we didn't do what we now know we could have done in the moment. But in the moment, we didn't know that it was an option, right? The second cup is the tower. The tower is coming through as a sort of dark night energy. It's coming through as a shadow work energy. It's coming through as an energy of when the story begins to flip. The third cup is the lovers. The lovers is coming through as a self love energy, as an energy of being kind and compassionate and empathetic with the self. It begins to see that we're not a product of whatever this was, because the tower freed us from continuing this cycle. If the Wheel of Fortune came out, it's like we could have gotten more of the same, but the tower puts an end to it. Now, I feel like a tower's end can be a bit abrupt. And look, there's the big old moon behind the lover. And it's interesting because in the world card, the feminine energy is up top. The masculine energy is at the bottom with his arms outstretched, ready to welcome her. But there's something organic here. It's almost overgrown, but it needs to grow that much to reach her. It's rooted in the ground, but it expands towards the sky. The fourth cup is the Three of Wands. This is carrying an energy of us wanting more than we experienced before, because now we know that it's possible. That's what the tower and the lovers give us. The tower gets us to a point in position where we're more um, decidedly over those past cycles. With the Ten of Swords, it's over. And again, the lovers introduces the compassion. I feel like with the lovers too, we begin to see ourselves more. It's like, wow, like I'm actually pretty strong. Like I went through that. And even if I'm a little worse for the wear, it's this Kinskuroi energy. It's Japanese, it's Asian. I know it's in Japan, where they replace things with gold or silver. And so it's like it's more valuable for having gone through that experience. The Three of Wands is the manifestation of the things that we now desire, of the things that it's new. It's outside of, it's fairly outside, because the Two of Wands is like at the border, at the edge. The Three of Wands is sufficiently into the next chapter. And it's what we're welcoming. Also, in the Three of Wands, you see the journey in the back. The fifth cup is the star. The star holds the healing. In the healing, the star holds the manifestation of the healing. We had the tower. The healing kind of sort of happens in the tower, a little bit, because that's what puts us in a position to really put that old stuff behind us and to begin seeking new things. So the star after the Three of Wands is coming in as fulfillment. More and more fulfillment. It may start out small, but it gets bigger. And then we end with the sixth cup framed in the wall as the hanged man. The hanged man carries an energy of being in between worlds. The hanged man, it carries an energy of staying when you could go. It feels like purpose. And it feels like purpose because the hanged man has reached some sort of enlightenment, but now he teaches. Now it's like he stayed to help guide or help others heal or do something like that. And so it's also carrying an energy of balancing the manifestive spiritual and the reflective natural. Now, the seventh cup that's being poured into is the moon. This is carrying an energy of things getting better in ways, things being aligned in ways that you don't see or recognize because it's kind of sort of still happening. And I think this is Hecate. She speaks of, I thought she spoke of magic, but these, what are these Dobermans? These dogs, especially this dog right here, it's carrying a little bit of a Cerberian energy, like Cerberus. So it could be Persephone. Let's see. I'm just curious. But it's probably Hecate. There's the world, temperance. Wait, I thought, yeah, okay, here she is. It is Hecate, the cult of Hecate. It's also carrying a little bit of an energy of spirit itself or more subtle forces. And again, it's what the hangman is sort of learning to work with on Earth. That's the, I don't want to say the dichotomy, but that's the polarity. It's these natural forces, these spiritual forces in a natural space. And again, that's why Ace of Swords is the ninth cup. The eighth cup is that Seven of Pentacles again. The eighth cup is the one that's sliding into position, that carries that Eight of Cups energy of a journey. Seven of Pentacles, it's bringing it practice. It's creating a foundation where we know the power of it, where we know for ourselves personally what the divine and what spirit is capable of and what we're capable of when we are operating in alignment in tune with those forces. And then the ninth cup, which is the fulfillment of the wish, is the Ace of Swords, which is bringing in the magic of life through the runes. Everything you want, wish for, and desire, and more. Odin, god of wisdom, sacrifice, and battle. O wanderer, brief walker of the world, what would you sacrifice for knowledge? I told y'all at the end of the video yesterday. Odin did a whole bunch for knowledge. He hung himself from the world tree. He sacrificed an eye to Mimir's will. He married Freya, all to get some knowledge, some power, some magic, some wisdom. Challenged the one of the titans, like one of the oldest titans, to a knowledge offer, whatever. What would you sacrifice for knowledge? What would you be willing to give in exchange for wisdom? What oaths would you make and promises would you break for the knowing of truth? Do not let the weak ones lie to you that knowledge is gained by sleepwalking through the world. Knowledge is hard fought for, paid for in blood and bravery by those who dare to stand. I sacrificed my very self so that I might glimpse the wisdom of the mysteries in the deep. What would you give? What would you continue to do? Knowledge is not one thing to be held and caressed, but a thing to increase and feel. It can leave you easily should you lose grip of it, should you lose grasp of it, sorry. Where are your eyes in the world? Where is the source of your wisdom? On my right hand is memory, and on my left is thought. They are my wings covering the surface of the earth with shadow. Where the shadows fall, there falls also my reach of knowledge. I bear within me the knowledge of all the ages. No man can win a battle against me. No god nor monster can succeed. Knowledge has its own lineage and bloodline. What is the line of your knowledge? Is your mind as quick and active as the wolf pack that runs and hunts its prey? Are you worthy of my great wild hunt, swift of sword and quick aiming of arrow? Will your shield shatter at the first strike of the battle? I am the gray cloaked wanderer, and they have called me grim, flashing eye, gallows' burden, wise one, advantage counsel, finder of truth, and smith of battle. I incite you to battle for wisdom, to not lay down your arms until the end. Honestly, that feels like an energy that is kind of sort of perfect for coming to the end of astrological year 2020, because there are probably a lot of things that we believed, a lot of things that we thought, a lot of things that we thought would never happen, maybe things that we sort of saw as infallible or inviolable. And potentially over the course of the past year, it was shaken, or it was proven to be not as solid as we thought. But it feels like the shield is your mind. It's like, would your mind shatter at the first sign, at the first hint of something not being what you thought it was, of a truth that you held so core to your being proven to not quite be what you thought it was? And honestly, it's reminded me of that Sagittarian South Node energy, because it's like that Sagittarian South Node, it's great at acquiring knowledge, and it can be very studious and erudite and selective of what it takes in, but it's almost like it doesn't ask enough questions. It's almost like it doesn't question the foundation itself. It feels like Sagittarian energy accepts things as a lump sum. It accepts them completely. And so if you sneak a lie or two in amidst a bunch of truth, then it weakens its foundation. And it's a lie that over time, as more and more and more knowledge and information is acquired and gained, and as that foundation is built, it's a lie that gets even bigger. Gemini, being the energy that questions everything, would be, it's like its journey of acquiring knowledge would take longer, but that's because it questions everything. And so it feels like Gemini would be better able to parse the truth from the lies, and to accept that which is truth and to leave that which is not. And it almost feels like Sagittarian energy isn't necessarily the best at leaving things unanswered. And so it will try to force a reasoning in a space that it does not yet have the capability or capacity to understand. And if you give that to Sagittarius long enough, it'll begin to see it as truth. And that's where it can kind of sort of fall into a little pitfall. And maybe it's been a lot of those in between truths or bridges gapped that we do our best in the moment because we as humans can go through life a little bit easier if we feel like we know what's going on, regardless of if we do or not. If we feel like we do, then it makes life easier. But depending on how much you hold that or how much you cling to that, when it's in when it's proven to be false, it can have various degrees of uh, completely life altering sort of consequences or ripples and effects. God of wisdom, sacrifice, and battle. And that's the King of Swords. The Nine of Cups, however, like the actual card that came out. And I feel like the Nine of Cups, it's also like I've been saying, like there's this energy of like, we ask for things, but do we ever stop to wonder how they would come true or what would need to transpire in order for those manifestations to be made real? Because it feels like we were wishing for a lot of stuff. And literally the first two cups was the Ten of Swords and the Tower. So the first two steps to the fulfillment of this wish is the Ten of Swords and the Tower. Not the easiest to accept. But then we build beyond our limitations with that Three of Wands. And we come into a mindset of wanting to know even more. And that's when the Star comes in, when the Hangman comes in, and when the Lovers comes in. I think the Lovers was before the Three of Wands. It was the Tower, the Lovers, the Three of Wands, and then the Star and the Hangman. Yeah. That's what leads us to this moon where we're like, wow, now I really don't know anything. And while you don't, you do, through the property of the spark of the divine that you're created in, through the breath of life that flows through you, that flows through everything, and the connection that lies within. Seven of Pentacles is also cultivating, nurturing, developing that connection, which gives you the keys, which teaches you and highlights the runes as you need them in your own journey, so you don't have to hang yourself from a tree to learn it. Okay, Nine of Cups. I'm actually going to read this entire thing because it's not too long. So bear with me. Those held aloft by chance and luck are quick to gloat their fortune. They rest content in the warm embrace of their certainty of future happiness and grow fat on its sweetness. There are some on this path who know the fluid nature of the wine they enjoy and take not for granted. I'm actually going to put this down so I can read. And take not for granted. Sorry. There it is. Their offerings at my feet are gratefully given and happily received, for I smile upon those that warmly greet fortune's fickle nature. I am called the wish giver and abundance, the cup overflowing and the fullness of heart. My mysteries are of the horn of plenty and the riddler and the rudder, of blessings and of flux. None know the direction in which I may steer their vessel, yet all celebrate beauty when it is given to them, drinking deep of the sweetness when any will turns them to the heavens. They think not of the fall, of the mire, of the bitter ills that may yet befall them, for that is not the nature of fulfillment. It is this I teach you. Hold up, wait. I'm gonna switch glasses because I don't need to struggle. I can make this a whole lot easier, and I can show y'all the card at the same time. None know the direction in which I may steer their vessel, yet all celebrate beauty when it is given to them, drinking deep of the sweetness when my will turns them to the heavens. They think not of the fall, of the mire, of the bitter ills that may yet befall them, for that is not the nature of fulfillment. It is this I teach you, that the whims of fortune can show you the joys of life just as readily when your will has descended. Hold up, wait. It is this I teach you, that the whims of fortune can show you the joys of life just as readily when your will has descended, that true fulfillment is not in time or place, but in that limitless inner sea of your heart. Mystery. Like the other cards of its suit, the Nine of Cups presents an emotional state. As it is so close to the completion of this suit, the watery energies of the cups have gradually flowed down closer and closer to something solid, manifestation and grounding. The later cup cards collect all the emotional energy flowing downwards until they are full to the brim. This fullness manifests as happiness, bliss, and emotional stability, though in the nine it has not quite reached completion and is still in flux. Thus, although we find our wishes being fulfilled and our joy being expressed in abundance, it comes with a reminder of its temporary nature. These are not long lasting joys, but fleeting ones. In the card image, a rich woman draped in fine fabrics, her hair in an intricate style, lounges on a long seat. She revels in the moment of luxury, enjoying ripe grapes while her serving woman pours another cup of wine for her. While her serving woman's clothes are simple and plain in color, hers are lavish and bright, a demonstration of her wealth and status. Although some of her golden goblets are being utilized in a practical fashion, the others are on prominent display. Behind the woman is a large statue of one of the most widely worshipped deities of ancient Rome, Fortuna, whose Greek equivalent was Tyche. Oh, I just got Tyche's charm and it had like plus 10 luck. I was like, I don't know who this is, but now I do. Okay. It was difficult. I'm playing Persona 5 Strikers, and it was a challenge to defeat the shadow that dropped it. It wasn't that easy, but I did it. Her worship was supposedly founded by a mortal, Servius Tullius, in gratitude for her raising him out of slavery to riches and rulership, demonstrating her bountiful nature and her ability to turn a poor lot in life into a blessed one. She was considered so important that she was celebrated in Rome as Fortuna Publica Populi Romani, official good luck of the Roman people. However, like the fluid nature of the suit of cups, Fortuna could be fickle and inconstant, just as unexpectedly causing the bad luck and downfall of a person as their happiness. O Fortune, who dost bestow the throne's high boon with mocking hand, in dangerous and doubtful state, thou settest the two exalted. Whatever fortune has raised on high, she lifts but to bring low. Fortuna was often depicted carrying a cornucopia, symbolizing her ability to bestow abundance, and a rudder, which not only signified her role in guiding the fate of individuals and populations, but also her fickle nature. The rudder could be steered in either direction. Thus, this card reminds us that although we may be inclined to show off our happiness, luck, and the source of it to others, we should be mindful that life often delivers a swift blow to our happiness when we least expect it. So the revelation here is Showing your happiness, status, or wealth to others, feeling lucky, good fortune, wishes being granted, a perfect set of circumstances leading to joy, emotional fulfillment, emotional abundance, almost achieving a goal in the emotional or social area of life. Negatively aspected, it can be smugness, being emotionally competitive, a stroke of poor luck, fleeting happiness, and having too much of a good thing. And I feel like I said that either today or recently, where too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. I don't think it was today. It was probably yesterday or the day before. So it's carrying an energy of not stopping. It feels like whenever we are on a journey and we find success, we can be kind of sort of quick to stop doing what it is that we're doing that got us there. And that's been a message lately. Like, don't stop doing what's working for you. Continue. Because if you stop, then your fortune could dry up. There's something fluid, right? And when we're talking about water, if it stagnates, then that's when bacteria and all kinds of things can grow and it gets nasty. What's interesting though is there isn't a single cup in the nine cups here. The Ten of Swords, the Tower, the Lovers, the Three of Wands, the Star, the Hangman, the Moon, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. Now, the moon carries a watery energy. The star often involves water. The hanged man is the element of water, Neptune or Pisces. So it's like there are like representatives or energies tied to water, but water didn't come out. And so it feels like there's almost an emotional emptiness. It feels like that's why fulfillment is so evasive or elusive because it feels like we're trying to fill a void with this Nine of Cups. And the King of Swords knows that cups won't fill a void, it's too fluid. But I think that's also why the Seven of Pentacles is coming out with that eighth cup and the hidden pinnacle that is under the water there. So it's not to make water be or do anything that it doesn't do. It's to learn to use water to build something that can actually fulfill us. That's the agriculture, that's the cultivation, that's the irrigation, because water will continue to flow. But flowing water helps plants grow. And we can eat plants. That's that phyto energy from yesterday. And I feel like that's also what this Ace of Swords is about, especially with the moon. Because it's not about containing water, it's about learning how to use water to make other things happen. And the magician did come out, right? The magician utilizes all elements. So that's what I got. I guess it would just be, I feel like as we're coming upon a year of quarantines and COVID, as we've already passed a year of quarantines and COVID in a lot of places, and as we're itching to get outside and for things to be over, it's almost an energy of like, don't forget the things that you realized in this past year. Don't forget the ways in which you going about your day to day life was keeping you from finding actual joy and fulfillment in your life. Don't forget how temporary and how volatile and how sensitive nearly every area or an aspect of life is. Don't go back, continue forward and make it better. Okay. So I'm just going to shuffle and then get the final message. I see the Three of Pentacles and the All Gifted. I like that. It's a time of honing gifts. It's a time of continuing to get closer to ourselves. And as the world opens, as things become more, there's the opening of the world with the Chariot. As things become more fluid, then grow with what you've discovered. Or continue to cultivate what it is that you've discovered. To have a more fulfilling and enriching and dynamic and fun life, right? So I'll give this 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. Ooh, last one. Cut, cut. I'll take. Well, this one is standing up, sure. Not you, not you. Oh, I'll take it. See, that's too many. Let's see. What are they? The Ace of Swords again with the Chariot. Exactly. Something about this Ace of Swords. It's really, it feels like it's really highlighting and illuminating the things that we're missing in life. Bottom of the deck is the world. Ha! The world. So as the world reopens, hold on to everything that you've discovered and move that forward. Don't leave it all behind. Because in that way, at the very least, you can make what has transpired happen for a reason. Now it's not senseless. Now it's not something that only involves loss and horror. But with that, like if you carry it forward, you can at the very least turn it into something beautiful down the line. And there are people who have lost things that it's very easy to be like, to come on a video and say, like, do this or don't do that. I mean, at the end of the day, your life is your life. Take what resonates, continue to do what's best for you. But I hope you do what's best for you. Sometimes what's best for us isn't necessarily the easiest, but it makes things a lot more easy down the road. So I hope you have a good whatever whenever you see this. I hope you're acting in alignment to make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that you see what it is that you need to get what it is that you want. Because it feels like things are speaking. And it feels like it could be in riddle, but it isn't necessarily. It's organic. It interacts with life and it builds upon itself. It grows. All right. Bye.